I'm Phoebe Wild with BoardGameGeek at Gen Con 2016, and I'm here again with Dirk Niemeyer from Artana, and he's going to talk about a couple of things, but first up he's going to tell us about Chronicles Origins, which is a game in development that they have. So what do you have to tell us about that one?
Yeah, so those who aren't familiar with it, Chronicles Origins is the first game in a whole series of games that will be telling the story of civilization. So for people who like the Civilization strategic computer game, this is going to be totally right up your alley. And the idea is each game is a legacy game, but it's falling within what we're calling the ecosystem, where in the first game is in the Stone Age, and you're creating tribes. At the end of the game, you'll create a bunch of tribes, and then when you start the second game, that will have information on how to go back into what you did in the first game and translate it into the totally different mechanics and systems in the second game that'll deal with a later period in history, basically.
So this is a game you're working on with Rob Davio. Mm-hmm. It's been in development for quite a while. And there's no expected release date yet, it's kind of still being worked on. Where is it at the moment in terms of progress, in terms of your development process?
Yeah, so this spring, we were supposed to actually, a long time ago, we had set to launch here at Gen Con in 2016. And this spring we were in external playtesting. The game was testing very well, getting high marks, but the type of experience people reported having, even though they enjoyed it, it wasn't what Rob and I were looking for. So we talked about it a long time and we decided to basically pull it back, and start over is way too strong, but really not just make tweaks, but take a big step back. So we're back in the design phase as opposed to external development at this point. We're really excited about where it is and where it's going, but we're not going to give any dates whatsoever because we're not going to have that same thing happen.
Well, I know a lot of people are excited about it. I'm excited about it. And my question would be, once this one comes out, everyone's going to be clamoring for the next one, I imagine, if it goes well. And what do you think the lead time on the next one and the next one in the series will be? Will it take you as long in that development process, or will you have kind of an idea about how to go about it?
I'm not getting burned a second time, kid. I'm releasing no dates. I'm releasing no timetables. I am going to chill and see what happens and go with the flow.
Well, I tried, guys. I tried to get things out of him.
Yeah, look, we don't want every game to take years and years.
No, of course.
As much as I love Game of Thrones, we don't want to have that cycle of release, right? So we're gonna play it by ear, but we're gonna be driving to get games out on a consistent basis. And the whole thing is an experience. It's totally unproven if people will stick with the same thing, game after game after game. And that's why we're making each game to be a really good standalone game. But for us, it's not about making a standalone game. It's making it with this huge, sweeping, epic story. And we'll see where it goes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that.
Yes, my pleasure.
The other thing we're going to talk about is another game that's in development. Mm-hmm. So this is Einstein.
Yep, this is now in external development phase, which means it's getting close. It'll be kickstarted this fall, actually. And in Einstein, you are playing as Albert Einstein during one of 4 phases of his life: young, prime, globetrotting, or wise. And you have, during each phase of life, you have different inspirations of things that happen to him, like his wife, Elsa Einstein, or his time at the University of Berlin, or when he was young, anti-Semitism was something he unfortunately had to deal with quite a bit. And these things were inspirations in ways positive and negative to the science that he did, even though some of them might not seem like science things. And so each of those cards gives you sort of a recipe of how you need to put your different ideas together in order to make a theory. So each of the different Einsteins, along with the different art, their different colors, black, green, blue, and red, have their own idea pieces, and the idea pieces correlate to chemistry, physics, mathematics, and philosophy. And so the recipes are basically saying, like the University of Berlin is saying, have 2 pieces of philosophy to go with 1 piece of chemistry. Exactly, to make this recipe right over here. And so all of the players are playing on one giant theory basically in the middle and building towards the theory of relativity and some of the other big things. So this is by far our lightest game so far. And it's one that people are responding amazingly warmly to. We're so excited.
So is everyone working together during the game, or is it a competitive game?
It's a competitive game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. And so how does the game play in terms of like a quick rundown of how a turn works, or how the...
Absolutely. Yeah. So each player has three inspirations in their hand.
Yeah.
And there are also, they can go for sort of bigger endgame victory points. So, for example, the player who completes the most theories will get bonus points. The player who, I may not be able to find it right now, like the player who connects the most of their ideas together gets bonus points. And on your turn, you're playing any 2 of your ideas, and you have, each player has 6 of each of the different types. And you can either be playing to make the shapes on your cards, or you can be playing for some of those cards, or you can be playing to get collaboration points. So what collaboration points means is, so we showed me getting the University of Berlin using just my pieces, but on a turn you can only put down 2 pieces. So it's really hard on this big growing thing that all players are contributing to like totally make a theory on your own. So while I myself might be the red player and I'm going to play these 2, if you are the one who has this card and you play that to complete it, you score the card for 3 points, but then I would get 2 cubes for collaboration points because I helped. And so it's a balance of, am I going to just try and complete as many of my own theories from the inspirations I've had in my life as possible? Am I going to try and sort of jump around and get points from everybody else's moves? Or am I going to go for some of the more bigger strategic things, basically? It plays in like 15 to 30 minutes, and it grips people, though. It's definitely a strategy game. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. That is Einstein. And what was the date? Did you have a rough date for that one?
It's kickstarting in mid-October.
Mid-October, There we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phoebe.